Tell me something about yourself. The most dreaded, yet the most common question which every interviewer asks you whenever you decide to go or decide to crack an interview. So basically, it's very important to take care of certain elements when you face an interview. It is not something that you should just walk into and decide to be spontaneous. No, never. You should always be prepared, and I cannot overemphasize the importance of writing down your answers, preparing your answers, but yet sounding very, very natural when you deliver the responses to the questions. So, today in the interview series, I plan to cover the most important question. Tell me something about yourself. Tell me something about yourself is essentially your introduction. So, when you walk into that room, people may ask you to introduce yourself. I prefer that you divide this question into 8 parts and definitely say them in a way that impresses or probably leaves no room for further questioning or probing. However, what we need to remember is an interview is never a monologue, and often there would be questions which would be asked to you intermittently. Nonetheless, there is a particular structure that each one of us needs to have in place when we are introducing ourselves. So, next up, I will share the 8 points under which we can categorize our introduction. First, your name, followed by the place where you live, your academic profile, what did you do academically, your academic achievements, followed by your work experience, if any. Okay. Next up, your family. Cover your family, the members of your family. Yeah. Followed by your strengths. What are you good at? Definitely worth mentioning. You should definitely follow this up with hobbies. What do you do in your leisure time? So, next point is hobbies. And finally, if you feel that there is a cause, a social cause, or a unique point which will definitely help the interviewer associate with your personal side, so you should mention that as a concluding point, a unique point or a social cause you are associated with. And yes, a point to remember, age is something you can subtly incorporate as one of the additional points, in any one of the points above. Now I will take you step by step through each of these points, how to elaborate and make sentences around these points. The first point is name. Don't assume that the interviewer has the resume in front of him, so he has already read your name and the name has registered. It's important that you say your name out loud. So, I am Chhaya Shetty, or my name is Chhaya Shetty. You can also, for impact, say it as my name is Chhaya Shetty. When you say it twice, when your name is said out loud twice, it definitely is something that creates an impression and is retained by the interviewer. Okay. Never ever say the word myself, Chhaya Shetty. Totally incorrect way of introducing yourself. A big no-no. So I am or my name is are the preferred ways of introducing yourself. Where do you live is the next element, your place of residence. So I reside in your locality and your city. So I reside in Bandra, Mumbai, or I reside in Andheri, Mumbai. Again, the locality and your city. This is an important element to cover simply because the interviewer is wanting to check if the proximity to the place is going to be a matter of concern or not. So it's important to mention it, and don't leave any room for the interviewer to ask you this as an add-on question later on. It's important that you cover it as a part of your introduction. Academic profile. Now, often I have noticed that one point which will bother the interviewer could be all your sentences will start with either I or my, and you too also can't help that because you are introducing yourself. So I and my are the logical ways to start your introduction. But I want you to break free from this pattern, and this exactly is what will help you develop the flow in introducing yourself. So, for example, after completing my graduation, I went on to do my post graduation. After successfully completing my graduation from Narsi Monji College in Mumbai University, I went on to do my PG, my post graduation, with a specialization in specific areas from Wellinger Institute of Management in Mumbai. So, there is a sample for you which helps you understand how you can break free from the I and my pattern. You can start with, after completing this, I went on to do this, okay? Or after securing my graduation, I went on to secure my PG certification in a particular area with a specialization in XYZ area. And it's important to mention only the name of the college and the university, and of course the place, okay? In the work experience segment, it is important to capture your total number of work X years. You also have to ensure that your most recent work engagement tops the list. If you're currently employed somewhere, that too should be mentioned definitely, and you should start with that. Okay, so your current role, your current designation, your current responsibilities, the period of job experience, okay, is what should be the highlight of your work experience part. And then go backwards and capture the prior work ex companies, just mentioning the role and the number of years. So probably if you put it in words and I give you a sample, this is how you could express this. My current engagement is, or my current work engagement is with Tata Consultancy Services. I work as an AGM out there, and my roles and responsibilities entail managing a team of 20, and we are engaged in project management of one of our key clients. And I'm responsible for the customer and his success, and definitely I mobilize my team in that direction day in, day out. So basically, you are capturing your role succinctly. You are mentioning your years of experience in this organization, okay, and you're capturing the fact that this is your current engagement, okay. I have been gainfully employed in this organization for the past 5 years, 6 years, okay, and I look forward to carry my experience from here into your organization for a greater successful stint in terms of personal and professional growth. Prior to this, I was engaged in other organizations, and my work stint covers companies such as Citibank and maybe other organizations which you can list and mention the number of years that you spent there. So again, just to capture the essence, whenever you talk about work experience or your stint at your workplace, you should capture the number of years of experience, your current role, okay, that you are handling. Maybe if you're in a managerial capacity, the team size, okay, what is your responsibility, your core responsibility, okay, and also articulate the prior work ex and the role and the number of years you spent in the previous engagements. Next point is your family. It is very important to cover whether it's a joint family or a nuclear family, the number of members in your family, and yes, if someone is professionally well placed, to make it a point to mention that. So, for instance, I have a nuclear family. Okay, my husband and child and I, we live together, and my mother is there as a support system to take care of my child when I take care of my professional commitments. My husband is well placed, possibly running his own successful business and helming a business which he is engaged in. So this could be the brief structure of your introduction about your family. Okay, if it is a family where you have a joint family and possibly your brother or sister are also living with you, and you want to cover their designations and organizations that they are a part of, it is also important to mention that aspect. When we talk about our strengths, it's important to follow one out of these few formats which I'm about to recommend. Basically, it's very important to know yourself well. And in my training experience, often I've come across people who struggle to even come up with a few strengths, of which they have or which they possess. It's not something which is advisable. You need to know what you're good at, and if you cannot identify certain skills about yourself, it's very difficult to expect the organization to appreciate and approve of you as a worthy candidate for hiring. So go ahead and note down today what are your top 5 skills. And in this particular point, as a part of your overall introduction, definitely cover top 3 skills as a part of your strengths. Okay, so next up, I will tell you some formats which will help you in expressing this point effectively. So, first format could be resilience, quick learner, and a leader, someone who can mobilize people or guide people or enthuse people in a particular direction. First format of indicating or expressing your strengths could be as follows. I'm a quick learner. I am good at mobilizing people and I have great interpersonal skills. These are my top 3 strengths, and I'm sure I'll add great value to your organization by bringing these skills to the table. This is one format. Second could be, don't start with I am, start by mentioning the skills directly. For instance, quick learner, great interpersonal skills, and leadership. These are my top 3 skills which will add great value to any organization that I am a part of. And I'm looking forward to bring these skills to your organization. So this is second format, or you could say, I am good at, or my strengths are, and then mention the skills that you have as a follow up. Okay. So you can also say that my so many years of so my 10 years of work experience has helped me hone certain skills. And if you talk about my top 3 strengths or top 3 skills, which I would rate as my skills or my strengths, they would be leadership, the ability to mobilize people, and great interpersonal skills. So these are some recommended formats for talking about your strengths. Hobbies. There has to be a clear categorical distinction between the way you say your hobbies and your strengths. Strengths essentially are those skill sets which will help you deliver better at your workplace. And hobbies is something that you enjoy in your leisure time. So, this distinction should be maintained when you express your hobbies. For instance, if you're a great cook and you're not applying for the position of a chef, don't cover this under strengths. You need to mention this under your hobbies. Okay. So one of the common hobby which I have heard people say is, I'm an avid reader, or I love to read books. This is very important to know that if something you don't do in your spare time, or you really don't read many books, don't mention that in the interview. So be honest and true, because at every juncture you could be counter questioned by the interviewer. So if you're asked which is your current read, or which was your last read, or which kind of books do you enjoy reading, name a few books. If you are not genuinely well read, these answers will then be difficult to substantiate with evidence. So be true to yourself. If you love watching movies, that should be mentioned as a hobby. Or if you enjoy spending time with friends and loved ones, certainly it can be covered under hobbies. Anything that helps you unwind, unplug from things and enjoy a leisure time is what you do as a part of your hobby. And you really don't need to come up with fabricated versions of hobbies which can put you in a spot and possibly could be the very reason why you don't clear that interview. So be honest is my firm recommendation as far as hobbies are concerned. You could frame your sentence as in my leisure time, or something that I enjoy doing in my spare time is, and then you mention the activities. Okay. Or you can start the sentence with the activities. Cooking, dancing, spending time with my loved ones is my way to unwind and relax after a very hard day at work, and that is something I enjoy doing as my spare time activity or leisure time activity. So your sentence structuring could be any one of the above and indicating truly what you do. So basically, the next point which you can cover after hobbies is a unique point or a unique feature which someone can retain in their memory about you, and it also helps as a beautiful culmination to your introduction. A last point could be a unique feature or some cause which is close to your heart, which not only shares a personal side of your personality, but it also brings out an element of, something which the interviewer can retain long after you have left the interview room. I would even love to say that it is a beautiful way to end or possibly logically conclude your introduction, as at the point of culmination you can say this particular point and it serves as a lovely end to your introduction. So it could be a quote, something that you believe in. So you can say that a proverb or a quote that I have lived by, it's, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Or probably a cause like maybe animal welfare, or your association to organizations like PETA or any other organization that you are associated with. You could mention here and the purpose of the engagement. So if you are doing some charitable work, possibly for an old age home or for kids or for an orphanage, this is the place where you need to mention that. Okay. And this adds like a beautiful end to your introduction. Alternately, you could also talk about short-term and long-term goals that you have for yourself. So you could, mention your concluding part as, I would love to end my introduction or conclude my introduction, or to sum it up, I would love to share my short-term and long-term goals. In the short term, I want to be, financially, I want to achieve more success, and that is why I'm looking for better opportunities. Or if you're a fresher, you could say my short term goal is to become financially independent and apply all that I have learned in my years of academic training for practical purposes. And your long term goal could be something that you're looking to achieve in the longer time frame. Maybe personal and professional growth, and associate it with the organization that you're interviewing for. So you can say that my long term goal is to definitely look for professional and personal growth in your organization, as I think I'm the best fit here given my personality, my skill sets, and my academic and work experience. So this could be something that you could conclude with. And like I had mentioned earlier, age should be subtly mentioned in any one of the above points. So you can carry it as a line, I'm all of 31 today, or I'm all of 28 today, or I am 28 years old today, and I live in, it could be mentioned as a point coupled with residence. Or you could even mention it at the time of your academic experience or work experience. So you can say that in the last 20 years of my work I'm 43 today, and that is how you can subtly mention your age as a overall point in any of the points that you're covering. The right responses in any interview can either make your career or break your career. It's a career defining moment, actually. So prepare well for your interviews and do look out for other questions and answers that we've shared in our interview series. So watch this video, which indicates why should we hire you, the response to that question. And definitely do practice on the lines that I've mentioned about how to introduce yourself in this particular lesson that I've shared. So tell me something about yourself or introduce yourself. This is basically a glimpse of your personality. So make it effective and make it impactful, because anybody who's looking to hire wants to add value to their organization and capture that value in your introduction.